This is a 1991 Ford Thunderbird, and we're going to adjust the TV pressure, or otherwise known as the throttle valve pressure for the transmission. And this will change the shift pattern for the transmission. So we're going to show you how to do that. It's pretty easy on this model, and this also applies to some of these other older cars with the AOD transmission, okay, that shift off of the throttle valve cable. So we'll show you how to do that. Engine compartment now, so we're going to go right here to the throttle body, and this top thing right here I got my hand on, this is the cable that runs, it hooks to the throttle body, and when you give it gas it pulls it forward, and this cable runs to the side of the transmission. So the more you pull this cable, the later the shifts become, and I'll show you how to adjust it so that you can get your shifts either early or later, depending on you know, what you want the vehicle to do. Okay, what I did is I just popped the cable, if you can see that thing. Let me get where you can see a little bit better. Okay, all I did is pop this out of the bushing. So this is the arm for the throttle body, and this right here, see if I can get some more light on it, is actually the cable, and it pops into the grommet right here. And I'll tell you another thing that happens on these things. This grommet goes bad all the time, and it'll make the transmission not shift right. So you need to check that and make sure that this bushing and this grommet's good. But anyway, what happens is when you pull on this cable, you're pulling on the throttle valve in the transmission, and that's what makes the transmission shift later. Pulling on this, or gives it passing gear. Some people call it passing gear cable. So the more you pull on this, the later the shifts become. Okay, if you're pulling on it a lot, then you have late shifts. If you're barely pulling on it, like you barely have your foot on the throttle, then you'll have early shifts. So let me show you how to adjust it. The thing popped out, you'll look right here, and inside of that thing, that little white thing, if you can see it. Let's see here, get that thing right here where you can see it, right there. You push that up, that white little thing, let me pop that up, and then you can move this block on the rod there, on the cable. Okay, now you can see I push that thing up, and it pops up right there, and what that allows you to do now is move this thing. As you can see, this thing moves on the cable. Now here's what happens. The further you pull this back, the more you're going to pull on the cable. Once you lock it down, if I just want to lock it down, you just push down on this. Okay, now it's locked down on it. The more you're going to pull on that cable, the later the shifts are going to be. If you push this thing back up again and you put the block all the way at the end, you're not going to pull on the cable as much, and the earlier shifts are going to be. So with the block back and you have a lot of this rod exposed, you're going to have later shifts. Put the block up and not much rod exposed, you're going to have earlier shifts. So this applies to other vehicles with the AOD transmission. This thing will be in different spots. I've seen it underneath the throttle body where it's hard to get to. So depending on the year, make, and model of the car, but any of the AOD transmissions in the late 80s on up to about the mid, maybe somewhere around 96, 97, 98, they started changing to the AODE, which is electronic shift. They didn't have the cable. So that's how you adjust it. Thanks for watching.